And kind of what's it like being out there with Jacob Rubin running the show?
It's great to kind of be back in the practice atmosphere, I would say. But kind of seeing Rube as the head coach, me and him kind of had a relationship before this, so I'm excited to see how this is gonna go. We have a great group of players, and I have 100% faith in Ruben as a coach. He's a great coach. He understands the game at a different level, and just like myself, he's a competitor. So I feel like practices every day are going to kind of be competitive, and we're going to get after it every single day.
Seeing you putting in the work, social media-wise, what's the biggest part of your game you've been this last month or two that you've really been trying to focus on?
I would say consistency and being more efficient. Kind of taking that bigger role this year, being one of the guys to really lead the team this year. I would say I would have to start off being efficient and being better with my reads and kind of knowing less turnovers, knowing what happens on the floor, knowing our plays, knowing every single position of it, so I can help those other guys who don't know it and those other guys who kind of aren't as familiar with actions as me. So kind of locking in on, I would say, the mental part of the game, or kind of just studying the game more and just being on point with every little read and every little tendency that I have.
Are you angling to be more of a point guard at the NBA level right now?
Yeah, I could say it's just helping me with my versatility. Being able to play more than one position, obviously, for anyone is going to help you grow as a player. But my last year of high school, I did play point guard. I played point guard for Penny 1 year in college. I think it was my sophomore year. But I feel like I'm pretty comfortable at the one position, kind of handling the ball and being kind of a bigger guard at my size. It kind of helps me see, like I said earlier, the reads and the defense more. So I for sure been working on my ball handling and kind of, like I said earlier, the reads to where it's like it just becomes second nature to me.
And I know Seth had you doing a lot of that stuff towards the end of the season last year in Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah, the end of the season, I was a lot on ball, and like I said, just really learning those reads to where me being a bigger guard, not just on offense, but defensively, kind of picking up those smaller guards and being able to guard point guards and ones full court and stuff like that.
So, we were all told today that you were extended a qualifying offer by the Warriors, and although there's still more work to be done to secure a roster spot, what does that mean to see if the team has some faith in you at some level?
Obviously, it's showing their faith in me and their trust in me, but like you said, it doesn't stop here. I just got to get in the gym more, and like you said, just to solidify my spot on the roster, I would say. So getting the extra work in, watching more film, doing all the other little things to where I could get to a point where Steve could trust me out there on the court, and he could trust putting me on and know that there wouldn't be anything, I feel like, mentally that could just show that he can't trust me. So like I said, just growing my mental part of the game, I feel like that's just the next step for me, because I feel like everything else will kind of just fall into itself with the work.
Two for you.
One of the goals this summer was trying to fill in some of the gaps that the Golden State Warriors were missing last season. You're the only guy who really spent time with the organization last season, G League, and up here in San Francisco. What are some of those areas to you that need to be filled in, and where do you see yourself adding to those?
For sure adding, I would say, scoring off the bench. I feel like with myself kind of being more of a scorer, I feel like that being my primary, I would say, strength is scoring the basketball. We for sure are going to need more scoring off the bench. But also going down on the other end, I feel like defensively, I feel like that's where I can work on better, not to where it's as much as I'm going to make it my strength, but more so build on to where I could be a two-way player, to where, like, guys aren't just knowing that I'm on the court for offense. They can know that I'm on the court for offense and coming down on defense and kind of playing the ball both ways. So I feel like defensively, that'll probably be my niche to start off. And like I said, it's all about just building my trust with Coach Kerr. So I feel like kind of just sitting down maybe with the staff and with them and really just asking them straight up kind of what they want me to work on and what do they see or where do they see me being on the floor and kind of helping this team out. And I feel like I'm the type of player to where once I sit down and understand where and what they want me to do, I could kind of just go 1,000% into that and kind of just be 100% invested into doing what the team needs me to do.
Two for you. Earlier this season when I spoke to you and I asked you about your award, you were like, I'm happy, but I'm not there yet. Something like you just said. But to get the news, obviously you're notching some things off the list or scratching some things off the list. How does that feel to get the news that at least you've accomplished that much?
Obviously it does feel surreal once you kind of sit back and really look at it. Like, it didn't hit me winning that award and being first team All-Rookie probably until maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, where it's like, I was kind of just sitting there and watching myself, kind of watching some of my highlights and watching it. And I was like, man, like, I was just so locked in the moment to where I didn't realize what I was actually doing, to where it's like I kind of did. I broke records down there. I kind of really solidified myself down there as one of the best guys there. So just really sitting back and enjoying it, I feel like that's something to where I can't get too comfortable with it, to where like I had it, I did it, I saw what I did, but like you said earlier in the question, it's way more work to do and way bigger things that I want to accomplish that are definitely going to come next. But of course, it was amazing for me to get those awards.
And to, segue into the second question, you've been revered as somewhat of a vet today by a few of the players, a few of the questions, and then Kendric actually spoke about you guys' relationship at Memphis, being able to kind of be that leader on the floor. How does that help you feel comfortable going into Summer League?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that it gives you to help those other players pull them along?
Oh, yeah, of course. Kind of going into what I said earlier, I would say it definitely makes my job harder, kind of being a leader for those guys. So not getting comfortable, like I said, to where it's like, okay, I'm a vet now. I know everything. Everybody kind of listen to me. It's more so me doing the same exact things that those guys have to do, but making sure I'm doing it right every single time, to where if it's a certain read or something that Ruben is trying to teach, I need to be one of those guys to where it's like he could just throw me out there and use me as an example, and it's like guys could just pick it up like that. Because some guys are visual learners more than just telling them to do something. So just kind of being the type of dude to where it's like simple things. Like if we're sprinting, trying to come in first in every sprint. If we're doing shooting, trying to win every drill, or kind of just setting the tone to where I'm a competitor. So like I try to win everything as it is, but I feel like it's easier for guys as kind of like the inner part of the team. If you see your leader kind of doing everything right and him never doing none of the shortcuts or cutting it short, it kind of pushes you and makes it easier for you to be like, okay, if my leader's doing this, I could obviously do it if he could do it. You know what I mean?
You got to have, I'm assuming you kind of build a relationship with Patrick Baldwin Jr. and Ryan Rollins down in Santa Cruz, and maybe even Jordan Poole when you were up here. Just what was your reaction to that trade last week and Chris Paul coming in?
Oh, man, it was I would say I'm the closest to Jordan on the team. On my perspective, I would say. I mean, it's a great opportunity for him. It's a great opportunity for PBJ and Ryan. But like you said, being down in Santa Cruz with PBJ and Ryan so much, I feel like we were just starting to kind of favor each other's games and kind of know our strengths, to where it was like if us three were on the court at the same time, I knew what PBJ wanted, where he wanted the ball on the floor. I knew what Ryan wanted to do to kind of get downhill and attack certain things. So obviously when it happened, I was like, man, I'm going to have to kind of learn to play with new guys. At least I have Gee still with me. We're kind of comfortable with our games. But, yeah, getting comfortable with Ryan and PBJ, it was just, I feel like, I don't know, all three of our games kind of just translated and just connected with each other, to where, like, I was getting so comfortable with them in practice or kind of scrimmaging and stuff like that. So, I mean, best of luck to them. They're in a great opportunity, but it did hurt a little bit. But I feel like the team we have now, the players we have now, we have a huge opportunity in Summer League, and I'm excited for it.
I know Jordan's traveling right now, but have you gotten a chance to exchange texts with him after the news happened?
Oh yeah, for sure. I called him right when I saw it happen. So yeah, he's still out there now. But like I said, huge opportunity for him. He kind of gets to go over there in Washington and really be a leader out there. It's kind of his team, I would say. So he has a huge opportunity for himself. I'm excited for him. I feel like he's definitely gonna perform down there, and yeah, nothing but love and the best of luck to him. But I'm actually excited to kind of see how he hoops down there and kind of having his own team and really being a leader. And I feel like, yeah, it's going to go really good for him down there.
Just following up on what CJ was asking you about being more of a point guard, being more of a playmaker, do you feel like that's a strength that you have that you want to see evolved, or is that something that they've come and talked to you about doing more? Is that going to be more of a focus this year for you?
Nah, going back to what I said earlier, my last year of high school, I was the point guard, and I did play a little bit of point guard in college. So I would say I'm very comfortable with the ball in my hands, kind of being that primary playmaker and really just making reads. I would say my strength is kind of just making the right read. So I feel like it's kind of just second nature to me, where it's like if I have the ball in my hands, or if I got to get a certain guy a shot, or if I'm coming off the pick and roll and have to make a certain read, I feel like it's all just natural to me at this point, to where I'm coming off making sure if I hit the right read to hit it every single time. Versus if I come off and make the wrong read, I got to know what the right read was. So I feel like that kind of comes naturally to me. But Seth kind of, like what he said earlier, Seth making me the primary ball handler. And it did have to do a lot with Ryan kind of going down and being injured. And we also had a couple injuries in Santa Cruz with the point guard. So with those guys going down and pushing me to the one, I feel like it definitely opened up a different part of my game that I would say I knew I always had, but I feel like everybody else kind of didn't know I had. So, yeah, just really showing everybody that I really have way more to what I've shown down there. And like I said, kind of just making sure I get and be a student of the game versus kind of coming off and freestyling it. If I watch the film, if I do the work, if I do everything precise, it's just going to become second nature when I'm out there just hooping.
Just kind of going from last year, going undrafted, then obviously you're doing so well in the G League, in the two-way contract. You've seen the Jordan trade. Just what's the biggest lesson you've learned business-wise of the NBA in this last pretty wild year for you?
That I feel like it's 100% what are you doing for me now type of business, I would say. So obviously injuries and other things, the way people playing consistently, all of that goes into it. And I feel like, yeah, that's just the main thing I could say. It's a what are you doing for me now business. So when your name is hot and when you have the hype, everybody's going to ride your train. But then them lows that come there, that's just tough to kind of overcome those. And then that's when it's like I feel like that hits people.
Sources tell us that you caught a body in practice today. Can you confirm that? Or?
Yeah, it was actually back-to-back plays.
All right, anything on Zoom? I think we had one or two Memphis folks on it. Maybe they're not still on there. Jerry, go ahead. Yeah, Jerry and Parth, I believe. Go ahead. Jerry, go ahead first.
What's going on?
I'm Jerry with the Commercial Appeal. Can you sort of talk about your friendship with Kendrick and what it means for you guys to be sharing the same court?
It's huge. Him kind of being down there in Memphis, I talk to him all the time down there. It's just great to kind of be here with him and for us to kind of, I would say on the defensive end, have that same niche that Penny taught us defensively, I would say. So where it's kind of like more fast-paced, kind of guards getting into each other, everybody kind of pressuring the ball. So I feel like defensively we'll be more intact to that. But offensively, he's an amazing player. He does all this stuff to where like the ref won't see it, you know what I mean? So he does the little, the reach up with the arm when he has it. Defensively, he knows like the little, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So it's probably stuff that he could teach me as much as I can teach him. So I feel like it's going to be a great relationship for me kind of playing with him and being with him now versus just being over the phone talking to him about hoops.
You just exposed all his secrets.
Oh, man.
Parth, did you have anything?
Yeah, what's up, Lester? This is Parth Padilla with the Daily Memphian.
What's going on?
Kendrick, follow up on Jerry's question. Kendrick talked about him being disappointed on draft night, expecting to go late second round until he got that call from you, kind of convinced him to come to the Bay. What was that conversation like, and what was your pitch to him?
Just being in that same situation as him. I was in the same boat as him last year in the draft, kind of not seeing your name called, waiting for that call, post-draft. It was tough. It goes back to what I said earlier, one of those down moments where it's like you feel like you're at your lowest. And I felt like I was kind of there to kind of just talk to him and let him know the process since I've been through it already and let him know how it's going to go. So like we said earlier, kind of being like that vet for him since I've been through it, but kind of just teaching him to really keep his head and just trust the process for real. I feel like I said earlier, he's an amazing player. He's a great player. And he's also one of those dudes, like myself, he kind of just loves the gym. He stays in the gym. He's always working. So I feel like for those guys, the work is always going to show, and it's going to show up eventually. So kind of just tell him to keep his head and really go through with it. And I feel like it's going to be exciting for me and him kind of just be on the same floor and really learn how to play with each other and just mold together. And our relationship off the court will definitely transfer onto the court and help us win games.
Cool, great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. It was tough. I think James only played maybe 3 games in Santa Cruz, 4 games. And those was amazing games to kind of be on the same floor with him again. Like I said, it was similar with him being at Memphis. It was different than Kendrick because James was actually my teammate and my roommate. So I was actually closer to him. And just to kind of see James's process and just to see everything that he went through and built up and kind of fought through, that was just the amazing part to me, kind of being close to him and being on those calls with him and just always talking with him. Even to this day, I texted him probably yesterday, but just staying close with guys like that. And I feel like the basketball world is very, very small. So kind of just really connecting with all those guys that you kind of were in the same path with, I feel like that's important.
When's the last time you checked in with James?
Probably yesterday. Yeah, yesterday or like maybe.
More specifically, how's he doing?
If it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. But nah, he's doing great. Like I said, he's in the gym. He's grinding down there. He's in a pretty great headspace out there. But like I said, he's grinding. He's getting his work in, and I'm very excited to see what he's gonna do this season because he's locked in.
Have shine and show to the Warriors that it fits their system and fits their culture?
I play with pace. In this system, you got to be able to play fast, but you got to be able to think too. So just showing them I could play fast, be able to get Steph, Clay, open shots, and also be able to, get my own shot too, and be able to defend at a high level. So really just showing the pace, that I could play at.
Since you went to Memphis, was there overlap with Lester, and how well do you know him? What's your relationship?
Yeah, he got me to come to Memphis. He was on my visit, and I got a chance to compete against him a couple of years, when I was at SMU, and I just knew I wanted to be there. But me and Les know each other real well. The day of the draft, when I didn't get drafted, he called me like, "Man, come over here. Like you gonna love it." So I'm just glad to be reunited with him.
What's that like to have him? He's already gone through this whole process. He knows what to kind of expect, but somebody like you coming into it as a rookie, kind of having, I guess, that security or somebody that you can lean on when you have questions.
Yeah, he just been real helpful since I got here. We Memphis alums, so we look out for each other. Coach Penny, that's what we know for looking out for each other. So, on the court, off the court, he check on me, make sure I'm good. And, we just brothers, so that's what we do.
Aaron Wilson with Cron Ford. Now, I've covered you a little bit. Adversity is nothing new to you. This journey to this point has been tough. But, you're here. So how does it feel to, one, get done with your first practice for Summer League, but then to be here, as you mentioned, undrafted, but still able to play along someone like Lester?
Yeah, it feel good, man, just getting over that mental hurdle. I had like 3 or 4 teams say they was going to draft me, and it didn't happen, and then now I'm here. So, it take a little minute to get over that. Then once you get over that, I got, texts from Ja, Dez, and, them like my biggest supporters. So they were just like, go prove the world what we know. So, now it's just a chip.
Kendrick Andrews with ESPN. When you said Lester called you up and said you should come out here for Summer League, you would like it, what did he say about the organization, about why he thought you would like it and be successful out here?
When I worked out for him, he called me and just told me how much the organization liked me and liked what I bring. And I killed the workout, and they tried to bring me back in for another one. But my schedule couldn't align. So once I didn't get drafted, he called and was like, "Man, I'm telling you, like, it's a first-class organization. And what you do is what they do. Push, pace, tempo, can, shoot the hell out the ball. And, you compete at a high level and you're a winner. And everybody know with the Warriors, they known for winning. So it's just, a match made in heaven. And hopefully I, make a mark in the league, but get to learn behind Steph and Chris Paul. Can't too many people say that.
You mentioned Ja and Dez and stuff. To have a relationship with a guy like Lester is one thing, but to have someone who has been able to climb up and make a name for himself in this league, like a Ja Morant, what is that like to have that level of a support system and those people, having your back and encouraging you?
Yeah, I was so close to signing with Memphis, and when I didn't sign, I was nervous to text Ja and Dez and tell them like I didn't. But when they got the news I was here, first thing they did was text me like, "I love you," and I just know you're gonna be in this league a long time. And it just meant a lot to me because at first I was nervous. I didn't know what they was gonna say, just 'cause they wanted me there so bad. And man, it's huge having a guy like Ja, and Dez, and just like they on me, I'm on them. Like me and Dez been best friends for about 10 years. Me and Ja, we got best friends throughout the Memphis season. And when he had his little mental lapse, I was on him hard. I told him, you got to grow. You got to become a man. And same thing with me. He told me this is what's going to make you a man. And I'm just blessed for him.
Do you have any motivation as far as looking at some players who have been undrafted but really made a name for themselves? I mean, just recently we had the NBA Finals with Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, so forth, to kind of give you guys some extra motivation who are undrafted.
Yeah, Gary Payton. It's a lot of them. Fred VanVleet, Gabe Vincent. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the league just starting to become either you can play or you can't, and you seen that throughout the playoffs. You just got to be able to play basketball. Even here, Clay wasn't just, he was drafted, but didn't nobody think Clay would be able to have this career. Steph was little, ain't athletic. So, I just look after all the guys that's not athletic. Kyle Lowry, Jose Alvarado, Dennis Schroeder, just a bunch of them. And I just know I believe in my work, and I think I'll be here for a long time.
You said your relationship with Desmond Bane goes back 10 years, and Ja has been relatively recent. How did you meet? Obviously, Memphis is a connection, but where do those relationships begin, and how did that friendship blossom with both of them?
I met Dez my sophomore year in high school when I committed to TCU. He was there, and then I got a chance to play with him my freshman year, and that was my roommate on the road. And we got a lot of memories through that. And we just love playing with each other. We was in the gym playing one-on-one all the time. Like 2, 3 in the morning, we was playing one-on-one. And in college, when I transferred, he was hurt. And then when I had the career I had, we ended up reunited. But we stayed in touch all day, every day. And Ja just, with the season I was having, he would call me over to his house. We would play ones, and we just got real close too, and he just liked what I was about. I'm all about grinding and the right thing, so we've been buds since then.
That's great. Yeah, anything on Zoom? Thought we did have one Memphis person on there, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're not on there. Nope. Jerry, can they? All right, go.
Yeah, hi Kendrick. Jerry with the commercial appeal. What went through your mind when you got that call that you were going to play for the Warriors Summer League team?
I was ecstatic. Me and my agent was happy about it. First class organization, and they don't just go after anybody. So for them to call me, I was happy. Then you see the trade rumor where Chris Paul come here, and you possibly get a chance to learn under Steph Curry and Chris Paul. So it's like, why not? I mean, anybody would take that as a rookie. So I was blessed.
And how are you able to make that impression on the coaching staff through your pre-draft workouts?
Just being me. Obviously, I got enough film to know what I can do. But just winning every drill I played, being a competitor and just fitting what they do, pace, competing at a high level and winning. So I guess that stood out to them.
All right, do we have one last one on Zoom? Parth, maybe?
What's up, KD? Parth Fadyar from the Daily Memphian. I asked you about what you were going to do on draft night, and you said you were going to be at the gym with your son. What was that night like for you, and then the hours, while you're waiting to get drafted or while you're waiting to get that call, what were those hours like for you?
Honestly, I didn't have my phone. I was in the gym working out, and Indiana said they was going to take me at 56. So I thought it was done, but I didn't know I was in the gym, and they didn't take me. And I had about 6, 7 teams reach out, but to me, I want to, it was out of Memphis and Golden State, and I just prayed on it, me, my mom, and my agent, and we decided learning from, Steph Curry and Chris Paul would be the best fit, and just hopefully end that way.
As much as you know, have rep Memphis and loved your time there, as you've said multiple times, how tough was it ultimately to turn down the Grizzlies and head over to the Bay?
Yeah, it was real tough just because, you know, you see on Twitter, I think it was trending, I was just going there. Like, everybody knew I was just going there. It was tough. Like, I mean, when you get here, though, you got to make a business decision for me and my son. So I just knew business-wise and for my family-wise, this probably was the best fit.